Now, let's stay with President John Dramani Mahama because he has announced his first batch of regional ministers, and they are ministerial nominees. Now, the spotlight falls on the Greater Accra region, the Ashanti region, and the Upper East region. Why? We'll tell you why. Because the Greater Accra region and the Ashanti region are the country's most populous regions, while the Upper East region takes center stage due to the ongoing Boko conflict. Now, the administration is prioritizing efforts to secure lasting peace in the area, reflecting its commitment to national stability and development. Now, let me bring you details of that statement put out by the presidency. Now, we know that out of the 16 regions, so far, he has put out the names of 10 regions, and he has nominated regional ministers for that 10 regions. As to why he left out the other 6, how soon that will be done, it is yet to be known, and we'll tell you as soon as we have that information. Now, let's look at the gender breakdown. There are 3 females in that list, and there are 7 males. Let's look at the individuals who have been able to secure the spot. We start from the Greater Accra region. Linda Oklu, one of the 3 females in that list. She's the Member of Parliament for Shai Osudoku constituency. She has a BSc in Administration, Banking and Finance from the University of Ghana. And if you recall, on the polls, we had an engagement with her. She was just telling us about how she's expectant of that nomination, and now we're seeing that play out now. She's one of the 3 women on that list put out by the president, and we're seeing his commitment to ensure that women are part of his government. In the Northern region, Ali Adolf John, he is the Circuit Supervisor and Desk Officer with the Ghana Education Service. He has a bachelor's of education from UEW. He also has a master's degree in technology from the same university. He is the NDC Northern Regional Chairman, and he is now the regional minister for that region. That's if he sails through all the processes. Now, in the Ashanti region, we have Dr. Frank Amwakuhini, quite vocal on social media. He's a medical doctor. He has an MBA from the Accra Business School. He is the NDC Ashanti Regional Secretary. He is the former NDC parliamentary candidate for Mampong, and he's also the former NUGS president. Now let's take you to the Volta region, where James Gunu has been nominated as the regional minister for that region. He is a media practitioner. He has a degree in journalism. He also has a master's degree in development communications. Also has a master's degree in local governance and government administration. He is a former MC for Akachi. The second woman on that list, Rita Akosua-Ejay, she has an MPhil in leadership from UPSA. She's the former presiding member of Yilo-Krobo Municipality. She's the Deputy Eastern Regional Women's Organizer for the NDC, and also she's currently doing her PhD in migration at the University of Ghana. Now let's head to the Upper East region, where Donatus Atanga has been nominated as the regional minister. We have the breakdown of some of his key qualifications there for you. He has a master's degree in human rights. He also has a bachelor's degree in education. He is the coordinator for the school feeding program. He's also the member of Bongo District Assembly. Let's head now to the Northeast region, where Ibrahim Tia has been nominated the regional minister there. He has a BSc in Information and Communication Technology, postgraduate diploma in management study, a mini MBA in project management, a former deputy Northern Regional Manager for the NHIA. He's also the Northeast Regional Secretary for the NDC. And then we head to the Savannah region, where Salisu has been nominated. He has been nominated as the regional minister for that region. He actually has a degree in law. He's a lawyer. He's also a law lecturer. He's a former district chief executive for Central Gonja. He has a master's degree in law as well from the University of Ghana. He has a bachelor's degree in land economy from KNUST. So quite a rich CV there from the regional ministers that have been nominated by John Dramani Mahama. Let's head now to the OT region, where John Kojo Japon there has been nominated for that position as a regional minister for the OT region. He's the former MP for Akan constituency. He is the OT regional chairman for the NDC. He has a bachelor's degree in education at the University of Cape Coast. Let's head now to the Ahafo region, where another woman is standing proud there, Charity Gardner. She has a BA in human resources. She also has an MA, master's degree in human resource management. She's a businesswoman, and she also owns a non-profit and humanitarian organization where she's been doing a lot of work there. So that's the list of some of the individuals that have been nominated yet. But we told you that we're yet to see nomination for 6 different regions. That's the Bono region, Bono East, Western, Western North, Upper West, and Central region. Now, these regions are yet to put out the names of the nominees for regional ministers, and we're wondering why exactly. Just as you are, we're yet to get official communication as to why that is the case, but we have hints that it will be released sooner than later. Let me bring in a local governance analyst just to look at the portfolio of these individuals and some of the key things we're looking at. We're focusing on the Greater Accra region, the Ashanti region, and also we're looking at some of the key challenges they may have to deal with. Ni Amate, he is a lecturer at the university at UPSA. Thank you so much for your time here on The Pulse. Now, let's get your initial reaction and your impression of the nominees. How significant are these challenges that they may be facing, especially when you look at the Greater Accra region? You might have to unmute for me, sir, so that I can hear you clearly.
So thank you very much for having me, and I'm glad to be here. Yeah. So we know that the regional ministers are supposed to be the president's representatives, and they are to oversee the operations of various government agencies and departments, and then they implement governmental policies, and they make sure they deliver public services on behalf of the government, and then they promote development initiatives. So it's very, very important for them to be there, since the president cannot, like we say in Ghana, divisible himself into twice. In this case, divisible himself into 10 or 16 regions, regional ministers. With the 6 that are yet to come, we can make a guesstimation that it's a gradual process, and we have just been given this 10, and I think we can work with this whilst they also work. Remember, I keep saying I have so much pity on President Mahama, because there will be so much pressure on him to satisfy everybody. Remember, when you're campaigning, you have all manner of persons joining you to do stuff for you. Some contribute by way of money, others physical strength, and by way of other logistics. So you also would have to compensate them by, So I really feel for him, and I'm sure because of the numbers involved, and then he has to make a selection that will be fit for purpose, and that is why we should be seen not to be rushing or stampeding him into just fulfilling the 16 regions with those ministerial positions. And so with the 10, we can work with them. First of all, I think the gender balance is not there. I keep wondering why, even with this 10, you have just about 3 females and then 7 males. I'm hoping that when the 6 are eventually released, maybe the women will take the majority positions. Coming to the 4, of course, is the Upper East, which we all have heard and we keep reading the news that the conflict is escalating. And I'm very happy that President Mahama mentioned recently, or was it today, that he'll be meeting at Santini on the 19th. And so meeting on the 19th, one of the major issues he would like to discuss with him is the issue in Boku. And it has to do with the role that the Asantini played earlier in the resolution of a similar, conflict, and the fact that he keeps playing similar roles behind the scenes. And we should be able to pray for the success of such meetings. Otherwise, like the security expert says, if you leave it in the hands of the politician, others might be seeing them as coming in to play their function in a way that they will support those who are in their party. And that is why we would like a neutral body made up of the chiefs, Asantini, etc., so that we'll have a good resolution. And then nib it, just make sure that we clear the conflict once and for all. I know it's an age-old conflict, and but there's nothing impossible. I think we can really, really clear this if we do not allow our political colors to becloud our actions. And then Greater Accra, Linda Oklu, she has what it takes. I mean, she's been the outstanding MP, if you remember, outstanding female MP. And then West African.
Oh, we seem to have lost connection to Nia Mate. Whilst we work on that, we're just...
Young Leaders Awards. She also had that for exceptional...
thankfully, we have him
Am
back.
I on?
Yes, loud and clear, I can hear you now.
Okay, so what I'm saying in effect is that she has what it takes, and I believe she can do the job. And that is why I think she's been given it. But she should also know that there are serious situations. And in this case, I'm going to mention the Greater Accra with Ashanti region. Two populous regions, and coming in as the populous regions, you have all manner of things, especially robbery. And it's the reason I need to commend the IGP once again for that visible policing that has been portraying all this while. I think what she has to do is to work with the security agencies in order for her to be successful. If you take away these armed robberies and these crimes, we also have flooding. And many, many situations of flooding cases at Odo now, for instance. And then the Odo should be dredged. She has to work in tandem with the lands and the mineral resources or water resources or sanitation and water resources. I mean, if they're going to maintain that title, I don't know. But she has to work in tandem with many others in order for her to be successful. She should not in any way resort to that one-man show.
Unfortunately, we've lost me once again. It was just talking about some of the key things that Linda Oklu in the Greater Accra region would have to look out for. He's making mention of sanitation, even as he looks at the Ashanti region as well. We have connection to him now. I'm told Nia Mate is back. Please make that point.
Okay, so what I'm saying in effect is that the same could be said about Ashanti region, where Dr. Frank Amakuhene is going to head. And I see from his academic and employment background that he's a youth leader, is an expert in healthcare, governance, public service. I mean, who else would you entrust such a region onto? And we believe he could do the job. But like I'm saying, no one should run a Rambo show. They should work with their chiefs, they should work with the police heads, regional council, and all. So otherwise, even people go underground to work with the roughest to be updated with the new is involved in the dark world. And so that's about what I think in challenges.
Now let's look at the Ashanti region again, because we've just been hearing from the president talk about the need to create teams to patrol the markets. We know both in the Greater Accra region and the Ashanti region, they have large markets. And so fire and security would also be some of the key things they may have to look at. Now, expatiate on that for me.
Well, so we know about these fire situations. Recently, the Katamanton market was the last we read about, and we're hoping that should be the very last. I heard a BBC news that they cannot rule out the fact that some persons might have evil intentions and therefore they might have that kind of thing. The second effect is that these things do happen. They do happen sometimes because of carelessness. Sometimes as a result of recklessness, and sometimes it's a deliberate thing. Sometimes, done by politicians from behind the scenes, as we have read over and over again. What effect is that these regional ministers must be people who lived with the people, who have lived there, grown up there, and they know exactly what it takes in situations such as this. So when there is a flood, how was the situation resolved? When there's a situation of arson, is it a case that somebody did it or it was by accident or something? What do you do? And keep repeating flood. Because you remember what happened at Circle, and it's going to be 10 years, things that can happen. And you need to find a permanent solution to these things. Otherwise, if you pick out somebody who did not grow up there, and you just pick somebody who has helped during the campaign, and you then threw the person there, I'm not sure you succeed. And the reason I believe Mahama has kept long, or perhaps hasn't yet brought the 6 other lists. Yeah.
Now before we move on to other regions, I'm quite interested in the Volta region as well. But in the Ashanti region still, we know that one of the key concerns are concerns about the activities of illegal miners. The past administration tried to deal with illegal mining, especially in the Ashanti region, but was unsuccessful. So looking at the regional minister and the job ahead of him, how best do you feel that we can deal with the issue of illegal mining in the Ashanti region?
You say, and that is where I disagree with some of you journalists. We know exactly what went on. And if you check from the writings of the heart surgeon, Professor, what's his name? I've forgotten the name. If you read exactly what he wrote, you realize that there were politicians involved in what was going on. Again, there was this explanation that previously, was it a 2020 elections, the immediate past government said they lost all of the mining regions, the mining areas. They lost the elections there because they tried to stop the galamsey there. And because of political expediency, they couldn't do the job well.
Mr. Mata, you agree with me that trying isn't enough, is it?
Pardon me?
You would agree with me that trying isn't enough. Effort doesn't equate results.
Yes, but...
So where then lies your point?
Yeah, what I'm saying in effect is that if you have politicians getting involved in matters to do, I mean, look at the watercolor, and you have politicians who have taken over the tractors. What happened to the tractors that were seized? Did they fly away? And so what I'm saying in effect is that if the politician, if there are things we don't leave in the hands of politicians, if you leave such things in the hands of politicians, they will play politics with it. At the end of the day, you achieve nothing. So what I'm saying in effect is that we should be more than what the past government did. If you consider the fact that you lost elections in that area and therefore you won't do anything about it, I mean, just that because of your parochial interest, the rest of Ghana should suffer. Is it a good news to that in about 5 to 10 years we're going to import water? Is it a good news? How much money do we have in the first place to spend some to import what we can protect and to have it in abundance? And so the Ashanti Regional Minister has a lot to do. If he must succeed, he must take away the partisan aspects of it. He must be efficient in perhaps putting up committees or units who will do a job not because they are taking away the galamsees so they replace them, but they are working to serve the interests of Ghana and to make sure that the totality of Ghana benefits from that effort.
Now, as we wrap up the conversation within just 1 minute, I want you to highlight some of the key issues that the Volta Regional Minister, James Garu, nominee, may have to face when it comes to that region.
Well, so James Ganu, again, will go there as the president's rep, but I plead with James Gunu. James Gunu. Is it Gunu or
Gunu?
Ganu?
It's Gunu.
I plead with him.
Yes.
Gunu.
Yeah.
I pray that he will do an excellent job. He's a journalist, he's a MA, he has MA in development, and then he was also an expert in local government. What I'm expecting, and then he was the MC. Can you imagine, Akachi? What I'm expecting of him is that he won't play politics with his post. Go on to do a job the way he should do it, so that when you talk of, look, the way the Ashantis and the Voltarians play politics with NPP and this, a sad scenario, and you can imagine that the totality of the Voltarians voted for the NDC.
Okay.
What I'm expecting James to is to go there and do a good job and decide not to play politics.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nia Mate, for your time here on The Pulse. He's a local governance expert. Now, we'll be back with more stories. You want to stick and stay with us after this quick reader.